Morning, everyone. We are about to start our webinar. Um, so we want to. This is a special session that we at mConnect are doing, given the extreme circumstances the restaurant industry is facing. So we want to make sure that we as an industry can manage the current pandemic, COVID, Corona, whatever names you want. I want to make sure that whatever we can as a company that we can actually we can we can do to alleviate the pain, the anxiety, the uncertainty. So in this webinar, we're going to talk about a little bit about what you as a restaurant or a marketing agency, again, this is specifically for the restaurant industry folks. So I want to make sure that any references that we're going to give, and we are also putting together, we are in the process of putting together a list of resources that one can use as a restaurant owner. So we're going to actually share that as well, maybe as an addendum to the blog post. And so just bear with us in terms of the resources. That's just a thought process that we just got. So I want to make sure that everyone can, at this point of time, can see my screen as well as listen to me, whoever is out there. And we're going to start maybe in a minute or so. So I'm going to skip who we are and all those things. Specifically, today's agenda is all about what you as a restaurant owner or a marketing agency that you can talk to your clients, and how you can help your clients regarding this um, um, regarding this pandemic, right? So yesterday I just went to one of our clients' place and for a pickup. Obviously, they are closed for dine-in, and then what I saw was like it's a completely empty restaurant. I think so far, at least in my own personal experience, and I'm assuming the same case, no one has seen this kind of a scenario where it is mandated by law. People are just scared, so it is a double whammy, and obviously the economy and all those kind of things. So it is basically a big conglomeration or things which are actually coming together and pounding the us as restaurant owners or people who are involved in the restaurant industry. And whatever we're going to talk about in the next few slides, it will, and we are absolutely certain that it will help alleviate a little bit. It will obviously not solve the crisis, but in order for us to cope as an industry, there are a few small steps that one can do in order to kind of like make sure that it can help. I'm going to call them as little as small business owners or restaurant owners, right? Obviously, again, there are, more to do with the fear, the anxiety, the uncertainty, given the fact that we don't know how long the lockdown is going to be. Every single day, we are seeing more and more number of cases. Every single day, the government is coming up with some kind of measures and all those kind of things, right? Some cities are completely shut down, like for example, California, they're completely shut down, and others, they're having some leeway in terms of, like, whereas in Florida, they're saying that it's up to each individual or city's response, however they want. So it is, a lot of things are moving, and they're moving at a very fast pace, right? So this is like definitely an uncertain future, right? But obviously, as a restaurant owner, you have to take extreme precautions in terms of making sure that your employees, you as a family, you as an owner, and then obviously the customers are all safe. First of all, we need to make sure that you guys are like, safety is the number one precaution here. And obviously, people are talking about flattening the curve. People are talking about the social distancing and all those kind of things. And given the fact that we do not actually have any known medicine that is effective to combat this virus, the only thing right now is social distancing, and that is obviously impacting the restaurant industry. But making sure that safety first, and then anything else. We want to reiterate, we cannot emphasize the fact that safety is very, very important. So if you feel that any of the things that we're talking about will impact or something like that, you're free to basically take that decision. But we want to make sure whatever we are talking about, the measures that you are taking in order for you to overcome, or at least to kind of minimize the impact, make sure you think it from a safety perspective, and then kind of start executing the steps that we're going to talk in the next few slides, right? So we actually are going to divide this into three different measures, in the sense that, like, one is obviously precautionary measures in terms of like what you have to do, obviously, which most of the restaurants are already doing it. Operational measures in terms of like from an operation standpoint of view and all those kind of things. And third is from a marketing measures, as well as to like what you can actually do. Again, we are saying that like you need to think about this from a restaurant's perspective, right? In the sense that like how can I mean, say from a safety perspective. So please make sure that any measures that you're taking, like if you're implementing any marketing measures, would it impact the safety of you, your employees, your customers? And if it does, then stop, right? So in terms of obviously this restaurant at this point of time, scarcity of sanitizers, scarcity of masks and all those kind of things, right? So we need to make sure that like you take extra precautions in terms of all your staff have to be made aware that if they feel sick, or if they are having any symptoms or anything like that, do not come to the restaurant, period, right? And make sure that you are scrubbing your restaurants. Again, I'll tell you from my own experience. I went to the restaurant yesterday. I was scared, obviously, because I'm scared about for my safety, for my family's safety. So I basically took gloves from my home to pick up food, right? So, and then when I went to the restaurant, I made sure that like as much as possible, I was not touching any of the surfaces and all those kind of things. So just imagine that how you need to make sure that you are taking these extra precautions, and letting all your customers know that you are taking these precautions as much as possible. Keep posting on your Facebook page and your social media on at the restaurant and all those kind of things, which we'll talk in the marketing phase. But make sure that you have a very, very, very strict guidelines when it comes to these precautions, right? Again, we are talking about disinfecting on a regular basis. Again, there is scarcity of hand sanitizer, scarcity of disinfectants. Try to see if you can actually do it. Again, make sure that you put up a schedule and follow that schedule, and make sure that your team is doing that. Again, I know the entire team, most of the restaurants at this point of time, I'm talking about the US market, they are, I would say that at least they would have already let go most of the employees, but making sure that you have someone to take care of this on basically making sure that you are cleaning the restaurant or disinfecting the restaurant on a regular time at a regular schedule is very, very, very crucial, and making sure that people understand that, and if need be, take videos and all those kind of things, right? Again, it's as much as possible, make sure that everything is there. Some things like if you have any salt shakers, use disposable stuff in terms of anything that can come in contact, right? Make sure that you have all these napkins and all those kind of things, right? um, Again, make sure that whatever you're doing, post it in terms of on social media, at the stores and all those kind of things. Talk about it, make videos and all those things, because it's all about, at this point of time, again, the fear of unknown, the anxiety level, anxiety in terms of like there's nothing out there which can actually help prevent except for the precautionary measures that you as a restaurant owner is taking. So make sure that you are letting your customers know, and as a matter of fact, your employees know that you take this very, very seriously. So that means you need to keep on posting this stuff on a regular basis and instilling confidence. That means you need to have a strict regimen of doing things, and making sure that your team is basically doing all the necessary steps and all those kind of things, right? If you feel that anyone is sick within your team, or obviously if you feel that any of your guests are if they feel, if obviously right now there are multiple rounds going on, if someone is sneezing or coughing, there are 100 people who are kind of having a heart attack kind of thing. So make sure that your team is properly trained in terms of anyone, if anyone is showing symptoms, or if anyone is showing symptoms of like cough or cold or anything, fever. Again, some restaurants are taking temperatures and all those kind of things. Make sure that your staff is prepared for this, and in terms of either refusing service to the customers or making customers understand in a nice way, saying that, hey, please do not come into the restaurant if you're sick or something like that. So you need to make sure that, again, for those restaurants where dining is closed, it is not a problem, but for in some places where still dining is allowed, so this might be an issue, because you want to make sure that you do not have a customer who is sick and he's coughing or something like that, right? So you need to make sure that you are taking precautions, and maybe you might want to put a poster right at the entrance saying that, hey, if you show these symptoms, please do not come to the restaurant. As in, it is not a discrimination against that particular customer, but it is a safety net that you're thinking about other customers. So you need to be very, very clear about it, and you need to make sure that your customers are very aware of the steps that you're taking in terms of making sure that that customer does not walk into the store, and the employees also should be trained. There should not be any kind of panic or anything like that, right? So these are, again, the preventive measures that you're going to take in terms of making sure that you are focusing on things in terms of making sure that giving confidence to your customers, giving confidence to your employees, and to the community as a whole, saying that, like, as a restaurant owner, you're taking all the necessary precautions in order to minimize the risk, given the fact that there are given the floating population that comes in and goes out of any restaurant. So that means having a very strict regimen, and if need be, you might want to just have one person who is taking the cleaning of the surfaces and all those kind of things. You might want to make sure that the managers, the owners, and everyone is actually involved in cleaning and wearing proper gloves and all those kind of things, to make sure that, again, the precautionary measures, they are precautionary, but also they also make a very good marketing campaign for you within the community, because end of the day, you are actually asking the community to support you as a small business, as a small as a restaurant owner, and you in turn should give the same kind of confidence to the community, saying that I care for you as a community. So that's why I'm kind of doing these steps to make sure that you as a community is safe when you come to my restaurant, right? So again, we need to make sure that it is a two-way process and you take this very, very seriously. I cannot emphasize more than this, that safety is number one at this point of time. Given the high levels of anxiety, given the high levels of uncertainty, and obviously when it comes to fear, it is the irrational mind that prevails. So you need to think of that from, if you want to go to a restaurant, will you go to a restaurant which does not convey these kind of messages, right? Now, once you are done, let's look at the operational changes that you have to do, right? And again, when we think of operational changes, these are things apart from the cleaning stuff, in the sense that, again, we have advised all our clients, and some of them are, rather than having 300 items, just make it to 30 or 40 items, which you think are most popular. Given the fact that the demand is down, right? You have a skeleton staff in terms of the cooking staff as well as the wait staff and all those kind of things. Given that if it is only dine-in or if it is only delivery or pickup, make sure that, like, for example, maybe liquids will not go well for pickup and delivery, so that you might want to take away all the soups. Maybe seafood might not work out, because seafood will have only 3-4 days of expiry date, and you do not know the demand, and you do not want to buy stuff that will basically go rot away. So you're, at this time, it's all about survival, guys. That means you have to make sure that if you can cater to 30-40% of the population, in terms of, again, maybe 70% of the population in terms of the most popular dishes, if there are 30% of the population who likes lobster ravioli or something on those lines, then you don't have to worry about catering to those people serving that lobster ravioli, right? In the sense that lobster might actually it might basically go bad in a couple of days. Again, I'm not sure about that, but I'm just giving an example, right? Or maybe fresh produce or something like that. Obviously, you want to make sure that you have, from a cost perspective, from an operations perspective, and from what right now the scenario is in terms of delivery and pickup, right? In the sense, like, you might not want to have, again, giving examples, soups might not be a good idea at this point of time, because they don't go well in terms of delivery or pickup or something like that, right? So you might want to actually look at that in terms of the profitability, in terms of making it, in terms of storing the items and all those kind of things. That's number one. And make sure that your concise menu is updated on all the websites, on third-party systems, on your online ordering, and all those kind of things. If you haven't done this, I sincerely request everyone to kind of think back and start looking at the menu and say, do I have to carry all these 300 items at this point? And obviously, this might actually be a good exercise even for future as well, because on a constant basis, you actually have to keep thinking about the menu items and all those kind of things, and see which one actually sells more and which one actually sells better than those kind of things, right? And obviously, right now, people are only talking about delivery and pickup. So given the fact that most of the places, they're shutting down dine-ins and all those kind of things, you need to make sure, if delivery is the plan to go, pickup is planned to the is an option for you to implement. That means when you're implementing delivery, what are the things that you need to do in terms of making sure that delivery happens. If third-party companies come in, and making sure, again, this goes back to the preventive measures or the precautionary measures that we talked about before. Can they actually, are they properly, as in, like, will you give the confidence to these third-party delivery companies which are coming to the store that it's properly prepared and all those kind of things? At the same time, can they come in, breeze out without much contact between you and the third-party deliveries? Is there a special counter, special way of doing things, and all those kind of things, right? So all these, from an operational standpoint of view, if you are thinking about deliveries, pickups, and all those kind of things, right? Making sure that you have the right staff, you have Obviously, in terms of the operational cost and all those kind of things, free delivery or minimum amount of delivery and all those kind of things you need to think. For example, yesterday with one of our clients, we have been talking about they started their own in-house delivery starting today. So then we have to actually think about how many people do they have, how many, given that Friday and Saturday and Sunday, will they actually have more orders? So how can they make sure that they have the right staff? Again, bear in mind, few of our clients, they already let go their staff. Few of our clients, they're still holding on and trying to see if delivery can help them, because there's no dining, they have additional staff. Can they use this additional staff for delivery? So that's obviously, we need to make sure that they actually can do that, in the sense that whether they have the proper licenses, obviously, whether the insurance is provided for. Again, that's a big thing, especially here, given the fact that you need to have proper insurance. If someone is involved in an accident, what would happen? Can they come back to you as a company, and will it buy? Will the insurance cover the delivery drivers and all those kind of things? So please make sure that switching on the delivery is a very easy option, in the sense that you can just turn it on and say we are open for delivery, but there are a lot of operational issues that you need to think about, ranging from, do you have the right drivers? Can you actually manage if there's an onslaught of delivery orders? Can you actually manage that? Do you have the insurance needed in order to cover for your own delivery? Again, the delivery, we are talking not third party, but your own delivery, right? And then in terms of how would you promote these deliveries and all those kind of things, right? And then we are saying that you need to basically work with third-party deliveries services. Right now, it is like basically we are in a big, it's a perfect storm that the restaurant industry is facing. You have to take whatever help that comes your way. And again, we are going to publish a list of options, services out there which are helping out. Right now, Yelp has come up with a $25 million small business service kind of a thing, which they're giving, from free services to maybe something else. We haven't analyzed that one. Uber Eats has come up with something. Facebook has come up with something, right? And obviously the government is in the plans, or already has come up with something. So all these resources, just grab them as quickly as possible, as tightly as possible, given the fact, again, it's a perfect storm, and you need to make sure that you have all the resources, all the options available to you as a small business, making sure that you can actually use them to the hilt, to make sure that you are at least minimize impact. Again, the whole point here being that as a small business owner, you need to make sure that you can survive this. And again, given the uncertainty as to how long it will happen, we do not know. So that's why we need to make sure that work with these third-party delivery services. And obviously there are waiving of fees, setup fee. For example, I had a call with Uber Eats. They said they had a setup fee of $350, which they're waiving it off. For pickup orders, there's no commission. Obviously for deliveries, they do have commissions. And obviously you can work with them and make sure that you have all these, like including DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Favor, whatnot. You need to make sure that you're reaching out to all of them, and reach out to them today to make sure that you can avail all these services, right? And then obviously in terms of making sure that the contactless delivery, people are talking, you need to have, according to some guidelines, WHO guidelines or WHO guidelines or county or some medical guidelines, I think people have to be 6 feet apart or 10 feet apart from each other in terms of making sure. So the contactless delivery is the new option or the new thing. Curbside pickup is another one which we are talking about. Make sure that you are doing this curbside pickup. And contactless delivery is like you go, you leave the food, step back after like for 10 feet or something like that. The customers will come and basically they will pick up the food and they can get away, right? And if you have a drive-through, offer that as well. Curbside pickup, some counties actually here in Dallas, they have mandated that the customers cannot walk into the restaurant. The customers have to sit in the parking lot that is like a curbside pickup, where the people where the employees will have to come out with the food. Obviously, the customers have to call saying that they are at the restaurant outside waiting for food. So and so is the order amount and all those kind of things, so that they can come and basically provide the food, right? Obviously, you need, again, one more thing from an operation standpoint, which just came out yesterday, especially in Texas, is the fact that restaurants can start delivering alcoholic beverages in terms of beer, wine, and other alcohol beverages along with food. So that means if you have a bar license, make sure that you can actually tag along on this opportunity. Again, given the fact that whatever revenue you can get into the restaurant as a restaurant owner, you need to make sure that you can avail that opportunity. So start this opportunity right away, saying that, again, promote that offer, saying that now we can actually offer alcoholic beverages along with the food, so that people are aware of this option. And we're going to come about in the marketing message as to how you can actually message this one, right? Again, this is like come up with options in terms of different like combos. Like, for example, one of our restaurant owners, they have come up with something called freeze and bake options, right? So right now, if you look at it, most of the offices are shut down, right? People are working from home, so that means people are not going out. So if you can think of coming up with options from, again, think of this from an operational standpoint of view as to how you can come up with, can you come up with a combo for maybe two entrees, two appetizers, and all those kind of things, and give it as a part of families, right? So make sure you can come up. That means you need to change your cooking process, and operationally you need to think of some options in cooking options or packing options and all those kind of things, and the pricing options as to how you can actually come up with that would actually work for your set of customers, and that would actually work for you as well, right? So that actually concludes the operational stuffs. Again, reiterating the fact that safety comes first, making sure that all the precautionary measures you are taking, and making sure that people understand what it entails in terms of cleaning and all those kind of things, and marketing that message. Operationally, how you can actually change, like, for example, if you have dine-ins, one of our customers have actually, where there was dine-ins till day before yesterday, they were only allowing 10 tables to be filled up, right? Again, right now, so that means they are basically doing only alternate tables, so that the minimum distance is being maintained and all those kind of things. So make sure that those kind of things operationally that you can actually do in case if dine-in is not allowed. Again, most of the places right now we know of, dine-in is shut down, right? Then that means what changes you need to take from a pickup and delivery and all those kind of things. And then the third aspect of things is like obviously the marketing, right? At this point of time, as we talked about, this is making sure at this point, from a marketing standpoint of view, conveying to your customers that you as a small business owner, as a restaurant owner, you're taking all the necessary precautions on a continuous basis, saying that yes, we are cleaning our stores, all our employees are being vetted for any sign of this one, and making sure that that message, the preventive measures that we have talked about, that has to go out on a day in and day out basis to all your customers. The customers have to feel confident that they actually can buy food from you as a store. That's number one. The second marketing measure or important message, at least we see, is, again, as I talked about, this is a perfect storm. All these things, including obviously the fear of unknown, the market, well, in terms of all these shutdowns and all those kind of things, and all of a sudden is a perfect storm, and that means you cannot as a small business owner, as a restaurant owner, cannot withstand this as a person, as a single entity. So that means you need to count on your community, and that's where the important message comes in the fact that hammer the fact that you are counting on the community support for you to survive this. And that is very, very critical, because given the fact that it is not affecting one single person or something like that, right? It, again, from a fear psychosis point of view, we all know that whenever a calamity comes, that's when all the people come together as a community. And that you need to basically focus on, saying that there is no harm in asking community to come and help, because you need the help. Again, I'm kind of reiterating the fact that help is required. Do not be ashamed of using the word help here. At least I personally have been reaching out to my client, to our clients, and we are basically reaching out to all our clients and saying that we are here to help. At the same time, we as a company need your help as well. So it's a two-way street. So it is imperative that you use the word community, help, and all those kind of keywords in your marketing message, saying that we are in this together kind of thing. And obviously there are a lot of hashtags which are going around and all those things, but making sure that these are the two important marketing messages that you want to convey day in and day out. So if you are a marketing agency, if you are a restaurant owner, please make sure that this is being harped on each and every message that is going out. Use those hashtags and all those kind of things, right? So in terms of marketing, right, make sure that you are on all your on all the platforms, right? Social media, emails, text messages, and all those kind of things. Make sure that you have this. Make sure that you are promoting your preventive measures, right? And you are creating these messages on all these platforms, and also making sure that if you're offering curbside pickup, delivery, and all those kind of things, that is, you are creating those messages on all these platforms. And again, with the intent, each and every message has to say, help us survive. Again, there are some certain keywords that are going around, hashtags which are going around. Please make sure that each and every post that is going out on the social media, on emails, that you actually include this one, right? And make sure that you are constantly posting stuff. See, at this point of time, if you look at it, people are working from home. They are basically obviously looking at Netflix, and they are basically watching news, they're watching Facebook, and we have seen the amount of internet usage has increased drastically, right? So that means you need to make sure that your message is up there in front of your customers. And again, the message being that, like, we are taking preventive measures, we are taking all the precautionary measures in terms of cleaning and all those kind of things. We as a small business, we as a restaurant need your help. And obviously we are here in terms of giving you the best food, in the best possible way, like curbside pickup, delivery, and all those kind of things. And if you have any offers or anything like that, right? Again, the fact that you need to reach out to the community, resources like your Facebook groups, Nextdoor. Again, I'm talking from a US perspective, right? Any other things in terms of community reach out that you can actually do, right? Make sure that you are doing it, and you are doing it in a focus on the fact that it is more or less contactless, in the sense that, like, if someone wants to do a pickup, they can come and do a contact, like a curbside pickup, delivery, like contactless delivery, and all these kind of things are options that are available. And lay it out in front of your customers. Ask your customers to be your brand advocates and ask them for help. And I have seen n number of times where people are actually doing this. They want to help. This is a critical juncture where the whole community is facing this issue. It is not just you as a restaurant owner who's facing this, it is across the board. So that means you can reach out to them and ask for help. And we have seen in a number of cases where they are helping out. And again, as a restaurant owner, you need to make sure it's a two-way street. You are also helping others who are getting impacted. So we have seen maybe something like first responders, if you can, again, obviously given the fact that your revenues are down and all those kind of things, if you can give free coffee to the first responders as a source of gesture, that's more than enough, right? Or if you can give free pizza, or if you can give some free food. Again, we are not saying that you have to do this one, but if you can, if you have the resources, if you have the bandwidth, if you think, if you can spare that, then by all means go ahead and do that, because all these people, the first responders and all these people are getting slammed, and we need to make sure that and that's where the community comes in. It's a two-way street, right? In terms of making sure that you are doing this, right? Explore alternatives in the sense that, for example, for our clients, we are reaching out if they can actually do um, a virtual fundraiser, right? Like wherein people are basically ordering and we are giving them some X amount back to the society or back to that particular school. See if you can actually reach out and as a message, as just saying that support your local restaurant, right? So just come out with these things, and if you can come out with alternatives that you can think of. Again, as a restaurant owner, you need to make sure that you are coming up with these alternatives and think outside the box. And if you have any other suggestions or anything like that, please spread it across. Now is the time for you to think of your fellow restaurant owner as well. Obviously, in this juncture, it would go a long way if you can think of something and if you can actually implement it in other locations. And that's what we've been actually trying to do as well, in the sense that making sure that we as a restaurant industry can face this calamity together and survive it. That's the whole point here, right? Um, Obviously, if possible, allow these options of gift cards, or you're kind of like, if you look at it, you're hedging yourself, saying that you will be in business, invest in me today in terms of gift cards or something like that, so that you can tide over this crisis, right? So that's another thing in terms of marketing message wise. Ask your customers, again, it's just like some form of help, right? Asking them that help us out, kind of a thing, right? This is what I'm saying in terms of the options, right? You need all the necessary help. Look out for all these the stimulus package that the governments are, the massive stimulus packages that the government is coming up with. Make sure you're on top of it. Make sure that you are, if need be, have one person basically, maybe in your spare time or something like that, in the night times, go through that. Look for all these, as I said, Facebook has this initiative, Yelp has this initiative, Uber Eats has this initiative, Google has this initiative, right? And talk to your, the biggest chunk of right now is the problem is basically your landlord in terms of your rent expenses. Try to talk with your owners or your landlords to see if they can do something else. And I am pretty sure they are willing to work with you. Again, just imagine this, right? The government is coming up with saying that they're going to give some relief package to the banks. The banks in turn will give some relief package in terms of mortgage payments. Then the mortgage payments, who's the landlord owner or the landlord, will in turn should give you the same thing to you as a business, because if you go back and tell him that I cannot pay the rent, then he would be losing, because there's no one else out there who can ready to come into that place. He will be losing that. So it's, again, just ask. The whole point here is that you need to ask, and the worst thing people can say is no. And most of the times, given the situations right now, the situation we are in right now, we would assume that you would get a positive response or a non-committal response saying that, yes, let me think about it and I'll get back to you, kind of a thing, right? So that is not outright rejection, but we would actually say that maybe 90% of the times when you ask for help at this critical juncture, you would either get it right away or you might get it tomorrow, but still you need to ask, right? So obviously this is a monthly webinar. This is like not part of our monthly webinar, and we thought that we had to do this one, and we need to make sure that this message gets across. We are trying to come up with resources. If you need any help, please reach out to us. We are like obviously coming up with options. Obviously, we also want to make sure that we can survive as well this critical juncture. So we are here to help for you as a restaurant owner, as a marketing agency. We can do whatever we can. Like we have come up with options where that we're going to actually tell about in terms of like obviously kind of telling how we can help as a marketing platform, as a marketing agency. We are actually with a complete website, online ordering and everything. We're just including $40 a month. This is one of the initiatives we are taking. We are also coming up with marketing, just like unlimited marketing and everything, whatever we've been talking about, for $100 a month. So these are the kind of initiatives that we are coming up with. So if you or any of other owners think that they need help, please reach out to us, and we are here, and we want to make sure that we can do whatever we can. And you need to make sure that you stay together, you take all these preventive measures, and again, the best thing is, or you have to take a decision in terms of how you want to face this difficulty, face this situation, right? Coming together and making sure that we are staying strong. And the worst thing is, some of the restaurants, they say, okay, I'm not going to deal with this kind of uncertainty. Maybe I need to shut down the restaurant for like a couple of months. That is the extreme example, right? That is or the easiest decision to take. But we strongly feel that doing these measures will at least minimize the impact and at least enable you to run your operations in a very streamlined, I wouldn't say streamlined fashion, but at least it will run your operations, keep the lights on, and keep continuing. Just imagine this, like all the people are at home, students are at home, kids are at home, and obviously they cannot go out. Things are running out on grocery stores. Maybe for you as a restaurant owner, this is also a right opportunity to show that you care for the community. That's why you are staying back, making sure that sometimes people want to have a different experience than they are right now, cooped up in their homes. Having a different experience in terms of a good food and all those kind of things will help alleviate the psychological or maybe even physical conditions they are in. So just think of this, it's a two-way street, and make sure that you are sending out the message that you are taking all the precautionary measures. Make sure that you are making changes to your operations in terms of menu setup and all those kind of things, delivery options, curbside pickup, if curbside pickup, how to do that, and all those kind of things. And from a marketing message point of view, come up with deals. Make sure that you're constantly hammering the fact that you are streamlining operations. You are basically making sure you're taking these preventive measures. Come up with offers if need be, and all those kind of things. And the message has to go on. Just reach out to your community with the same message, saying that we need your help. We are taking measures. We are here to help, right? It's a two-way street of taking help and offering help at the same time, right? Again, if you need anything from us, as in terms of any help, any marketing help, anything to do with online ordering, anything else, please reach out to us. We are here to help. Again, our main motto of or main aim of doing this webinar is to make sure that at least our message goes out to few people that can make a little bit of an impact. And if you need help, please reach out to us, marketing@mconnect.com, and we are here in whatever form or fashion that we can do. Thanks again, and you all stay safe.